On Halloween Eve, a horror camp called Pleasant Lake opens in the American countryside. It is dedicated to a spooky story that took place in these parts 20 years ago. The Meadows couple were murdered here, their daughter Echo was kidnapped, and their son disappeared. First guests of the modern Pleasant Lake are promised a weekend full of horror and blood, and suddenly that's exactly what happens. A maniac appears in the vicinity of the camp, killing everyone for real. Movies like Camp Pleasant Lake are good to watch from time to time, for those who like to rate just a little weak movies with score of 1. It's good to remind these people what it's like to see a movie whose writers seem to have no idea what they're doing. Yes, it feels like this movie was created by fans of horror and slashers in particular, but their enthusiasm is not backed up by a budget that is marginally acceptable for the genre, nor, much worse, even a drop of professionalism. The film's writer, director and producer Thomas Walton is not new to movies, but he is the root cause of all the problems of Camp Pleasant Lake. No one expects from slashers a subtle and clever script, but here it is simply absent. There is only a disorderly jumble of disparate scenes, each of which raises an infinite number of questions. The trick of the movie is that both visitors and workers of the camp are sure that the murders that take place in front of their eyes are part of the planned performance. But what about the corpses that are left lying around after killers attack? Does no one notice that these people are actually dead? Where do they then disappear to? The way the characters interact does not stand up to any criticism in terms of logic or level of acting. The way in which what is happening in the present day is linked to flashbacks to 2002 provokes a lot of questions. The motivation of the maniac is perplexing. As if a bad script wasn't enough, Walton also demonstrates a masterclass in bad directing. He doesn't understand how to set up a mise-en-scene, where to put the camera, how to show something interesting to the viewer, and how to work with actors who doesn't have a clue what to do. As in the case of many independent horror films, Camp Pleasant Lake raised money through crowdfunding. The authors managed to get as much as $40,000, but it led to the fact that the credits of the movie consists of 68 executive producers and 28 associate producers, and on the screen there is an unlikely team of veterans of B movies and apparently random people, who received a couple of lines, apparently, for financial assistance. Most of the money raised apparently went not to makeup and special effects, but to royalties for 90s stars Michael Pare, Andrew Divoff and Robert LaSardo, Scream Queen, Devanny Pinn, the nun from the Conjuring universe Bonnie Aarons, and a grown-up Jonathan Lipnicki, primarily known for his child roles in Jerry Maguire and Stuart Little. Even by thrash slasher standards, this is not a movie, but a misfire.